We study growth of nationalism. This chapter speaks about events which happened. Please make a note after 1857. What happened in 1857? First war of independence happened, which your school has started. Your school started tonight, so they will start. Okay? Let's see what is growth of nationalism. Okay, what is nationalism? It is the feeling of oneness, common consciousness that emerges when we people live in a common territory. We have the same history, same politic and cultural background, political and cultural background. We have the same language, value, and we consider ourselves as one nation, right? Very clear example. Tomorrow, India finals, India plays finals. And even if you don't follow cricket, you know India reached the finals, right? Feeling happy, that is nationalism. Look around the world, what is happening? Anybody, what is happening? War is happening. Iran is fighting US, Israel, and other parts. People are concerned. Why? Because of nationalism. Why are they fighting? They are fighting to keep their country alive, afloat, or conquer more area, right? This is all coming under nationalism. These are the 8 keywords which I want you to mark. Oneness, common consciousness, same language, value, we are all one nation. Now, how did India in this phase suddenly started to become nationalistic? How did Indians become nationalistic? Why? Because everybody wanted to choose their own leader and own system rather than being a part of someone else's empire and be ruled by foreigners. Please bracket that out. And now you can see that. Confirm. This is what nationalism says. We want to choose our own leader. Where was this feeling of nationalism lacking before the British? So, what was the scenario? You just passed 9th grade, right? This is what they are saying. For many centuries in India, India was never one nation, but we had many kingdoms. Please bracket that. However, vast portion of the empire, India was sometimes ruled by one empires. Which are the empires which ruled full India, pan India? If you remember last year, Mauryans, Mughals, Marathas. Please write those examples and bracket that down. These were the kingdoms, these were the kings which ruled entire India, but they were all under name of empires. We were never called as India, we were always known by empires. That means a feeling of nationalism was lacking. The loyalty was always towards a particular king or a kingdom, never a nation. It emerged during the British rule as a reaction to the British rule. After the British came in, we started calling ourselves that we want India back. We don't want the ruler back. We want India. Before this, we always used to say we believe in a ruler. Mughal, Mauryan, Maratha, Cholas. That's what we studied last year, right? Many, many more. Guptas and all. Can I go ahead? Did you mark? Marking done. Electric marking done. Sure, brackets are clear. Rajveer, 4 reasons for the development of nationalism. These are only head points. Please mark those head points. Economic exploitation by the British, repressive colonial policies by the British, the role of the press, and socio-religious reforms, which are all explained detail below. These are the 4 this. which have resulted in. Let's see the first one. Sure shot role of Indian press. Please mark sure shot there. What was the role the Indian press played? Please mark board question. This came last year in the board paper for 4 marks. Sure shot. As soon as it comes sure shot in the board paper, it's going to feature in your school paper for sure. 100%. I'll give you a Jaguar car if this question comes. One question. But please 100% yes. Please don't because it has come. Please make a note of this. Right sure shot. Jaguar car question. Role of press. I'll give you a Jaguar car, each one of you. Let's see what is the role of the press which gave rise to nationalism. How does press give rise to nationalism? News you see, right? This is what we are talking about. Obviously, वो time पे क्या news आता था? That time the news was based on newspapers. Unlike today, social media, news channels not available. It was only the newspapers. Please mark name the following. Amrit Bazar Patrika, Bengali, the Tribune, the Pioneer, the Times of India. These are all names of the newspapers. Please mark the last two. The Hindu and the Statesman were published in English. Sure, name the following. They'll ask you the name of the newspapers or they'll ask you to pick an odd one out. You need to know the first ones which were there. Amrit Bazar, Patrika, Bengali, Tribune, Pioneer, Times of India were local language newspapers. English and the Hindu and the Statesman were English. Let's see how did they spread nationalism. They spread the ideas of liberty, freedom, equality, home rule, and independence among the people. Please bracket those keywords. We want liberty, we want freedom, equality, home rule, independence. They expose the true nature of the British by carrying out daily criticism. Every day you are writing against the British. It is basically hot topic, hot news. You have to write against the British. They exchange views from different parts of the country. This point speaks about inside the country. How is the North behaving as compared to the South with respect to British policies? Or how is the West comparing itself to the East of India? West India, and I hope if you understand India, you see that India, despite being India, there are a lot of regional disparities. Once again, I use the term regional disparity. South India, very highly educated as compared to North, very limited literacy rate is very less as compared to South. West India, Mumbai and all, west part of India, very developed as compared to East India, Assam, Meghalaya, no development at all. Internet in India. So India being India, yet we have a lot of disparities. So here, now the disparities come to a limitation because you're exchanging ideas. This one, it made India aware of what was happening around the world and to shape their policies and programs. This speaks about the point outside the country. Please bracket those terms, please bracket those wordings which I have. Next part, please mark sure short again. Repressive colonial policies. Not a single year has gone where in your first exam in June or before that, this chapter repressive colonial policies have not featured. Every year, repressive colonial policies have featured for sure. Let's see what were the repressive colonial policies which the British put on India. The first one, the ICS examination. The ICS examination. At that time, it was called as the ICS examination, which is basically today, if you have heard this exam called as UPSC. The age limit for this exam was reduced from bracket that please 21 to 19 at that time. Now there's no limit of all with respect to 21. That time you could take the ICS examination up to 21. British came and did repressive colonial policies, reduced it 19 only for the Indians. So a Britisher in India can take the exam till 21, but an Indian can only take the exam till 19, thus making it impossible for the Indians to pass. If you don't pass the exam, you don't become a part of the government. Can you see how strategic the move was? Can't pass the exam, can't become a part of the government. Age limit is 19. It's like saying you're going to give your board this year 10, but I want you to give 12th board also this year. Is that possible? Impossible. No one will clear any board. The British used this strategy to reduce the age limit from 21 to 19, but only for the Indians, not for the Britishers. Britishers could take the same exam. Import duty on British cloth textiles was abolished. Import duty means tax. Huh? For someone who doesn't know that, please write that. Tax was abolished for British. All are math students, right? If CP goes down, cost price goes down, profit becomes more, right? Thus, being very harmful for the Indian industry and to industry. Mark that first line. A grand Delhi Darbar was organized by Lord Lytton. This guy is Lytton in the photo here. Lytton organized the Grand Delhi Darbar. Here is the photo of the Grand Delhi Darbar. Before that, can you tell me how many Grand Delhi Darbars happened in India? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Try. He says 4, 5, 4, 5. 3 Grand Delhi Darbars. Out of these, in the Grand Delhi Darbar, what is the Grand Delhi Darbar? Basically, you're proclaiming the British King and Queen, the King of India and Queen of India also, because we are a part of the colony. We are a part of the colony. Out of these 3 Grand Delhi Darbars, how many times the King and the Queen actually show up to India? Out of the 3, how many of them actually came to India? The King and the Queen actually took effort to come to India. He says none. None. 1. So 3 Grand Delhi Darbars happened. If you see here, you don't have to learn the dates, but I'm just giving you for reference. 77, 1903 and 1911. In the last one, 1911 wala, the king and the queen actually came. But apart from that, you can see how the darbar is organized. Money is spent left, right, and center. It's not only the king and the queen of England All royal people around the world are invited to come for the grand dinner. And who pays for them? India pays for them. British is not paying. India's. Lakhs of rupees used to just go in the Grand Delhi Darbar. Lakhs. It was, I believe, you must have recently seen the wedding of Ambani, right? Like that. Everybody is invited from the world because they are holding a Grand Delhi Darbar. This is the original, one of the original photos of the Grand Delhi. Everything was royally placed and they used to have ceremonies on a very huge scale. These are some photos. The problem, here is the problem. Lakhs of rupees were spent, but the other part of the country where the Indians were reeling in famine. Reeling in famine means they are fighting famine. Famine means crop failure. So the British is ready to celebrate but not give anything to the Indians, poor Indians who are dying in famine. Can you confirm first three? Next one, 100%. Whether it's board, no board, these two acts will feature for sure. Sure shot, mark 100% sure shot. Jaguar car question. I'll give you a Jaguar car of the color of your choice. Whichever choice the color you love. The first act is called as the Vernacular Press Act. The second one is the Arms Act. Please mark what was the Vernacular Press Act. It forbade vernacular newspapers to publish any material of dissatisfaction that might instigate Indians against the British. Vernacular means local language. ये वाला point which was there, can you remember? Do you remember this point here? The local press carried on daily criticism. Can you see this? I made an arrow. This point that the British on the same page it carried daily criticism out. They're writing every day about the British, what British are doing wrong. So the British said this is not okay. I know I'm doing wrong, but you can't write about it in the newspapers on daily criticism. You're criticizing me. So it forbade vernacular newspapers to write any material which will cause feeling of dissatisfaction or incite or instigate the Indians against the British. Now vernacular newspapers, these which are the names here, if you remember, look here again, once again, Amrit Bazar, Patrika, Bengali, Tribune, Pioneer, Times of India, all are vernacular newspapers. Now you can't write anything against the British. The English newspapers, that was Hindu and Statesman, this act was not applicable to the English newspapers. Confirm? And 4 years later, that is 1878, the act started. 4 years later, 1882, please mark R&R. Lord Ripon repealed the act. Repealed the act means removed the act. Please make an arrow and write R&R. R for repealed, R for Ripon. So you remember that. Please understand, here is the photo of Ripon. Picture study will not come, but just understand. Ripon was a very good Britisher. When they say British was bad, yes, British system was very bad. Many Britishers were bad, but Ripon was one of them who was very good. He was in complete support of the Indians. And that's when you will see that the Vernacular Press Act, which was introduced by Lytton, look here, Lytton started it. Ripon said, my era, I'm ruining. You can write wrong about the British, let the people know that the British is actually doing something wrong. I'm supporting the Indians. He used to support the Indians. Confirm. The second act was here. The second act was here. Arms Act. It was a criminal offense for Indians to possess arms without a license. This act was again not applicable to the British. So Indians cannot roam with arms, but a Britisher can roam with arms. Why? Because the Britisher said, my life is more precious than an Indian. If there is any kind of quarrel or street fight, the Britisher could shoot the Indian. These acts were only and only made to safeguard the Britishers. India ka life ka value was not there. Indians' life value was not. Arms Act, you are allowed to possess arms without license. But this act was only applicable to Indians. That you need a license. Britisher doesn't need a license in any case. Impact, what was the impact of the Vernacular Press Act? It spread dissatisfaction and discontentment among the Indians. That's only a one line. Seventh one I'll do later. I'll directly take you to the economic exploitation scenario. Economic exploitation, anybody economic student? You're a science, right? Okay, here we are going to learn about how British took our money. The British system of colonialism, colonial rule was only based to take our. सबसे पहले किससे पैसा लिया? Peasants. Who are peasants? Please make an arrow and write. Peasants are the farmers. The main victims were the farmers. Please bracket that, the main victims. They can ask you, what are the category which was the main victims? Farmers. How did they take the money? Please underline there. Land revenue and other taxes. Please bracket those two words, land revenue and other taxes. According to the British rule, if a farmer was unable to pay back the loan, money lenders could take his land away and get them transferred in their own name. Hindi mein thoda wasuli bolte, right? If you don't pay your money, if you don't pay your loan back, they will take away your land and transfer it in their own. So the farmers were the worst affected because the farmer was forced to take a loan, forced to pay a high land revenue, forced to pay a high tax. Eventually, he couldn't repay his loan and the Britisher could take away his land. Please confirm, underline those lines which are there. Lender could get the farmer's land transferred in his name. Then the second category which got exploited were the cheap craftsmen. Please mark, India became a source of cheap labor, cheap raw materials. This policy was fueling underlying foreign economy and crippling the Indian economy. Please circle those words. Foreign economy was growing. That is, British economy is growing. Indian economy doesn't. I'll give you a realistic example, which our government now becomes very smart at. Anybody uses iPhone? Give you an example. How many Apple stores are there in India? 2, 3. Third one is open now, if I'm not wrong. Why did Apple take so much time to open a store in India? Even despite a lot of people using iPhones from the very start, it comes in only in after 2020 that they were able to open a store. Because our Indian economy, that was Modi ji and all, put a criteria that if you want to work in India and open a store, the iPhone has to be at least 40% manufactured in India. That means now we are not using products which are made in China. They will be written made in India. So Apple had to agree to that. Just imagine India is putting conditions on a multinational company that if you want to come into our market, you have to follow our conditions. So Apple started this process earlier only in 2015, 15, where they used to slowly manufacture parts of the phone in India, from the hard disk to the software, slowly. And after 2020, they reached the capacity which completed their 40% criteria, where they were using India raw material and Indian laborers. That's why government said now you open a store. And over the course of 2 years, they've opened 3 stores. 3 years, 3 stores now. More years, they'll open more because they've met that percentage criteria now. Unlike here, the British used to take our cheap labor, take our cheap raw materials, and only benefit the foreign economy, and our Indian economy was getting crippled. As time passes, obviously, we learn. Do you mark those terms? Fueling the foreign economy and crippling the Indian economy. Next page, the working class. This class was grown because of modern industries. The working class were exploited by the old factory owners who were generally Englishmen. Bracket that, please. The working cheap labor was the one which was getting exploited by the factory owners. You studied this in grade 8 also, if you remember. American Civil War, slavery. Slaves were asked to work 16 hours a day. Same thing used to happen here. Indian laborers were asked to work in the factories for 16 hours for cheap labor because you don't have any other source of employment. And the last one, the head point is on the previous page. The educated Indians. They comprised of doctors, lawyers, teachers, and for them the only source of employment was government services, where competition was very high and promotion was bleak. This group, being educated, initially hoped that British will help India grow, but then realized that the economic policies of the British are keeping India backward. The second paragraph says the same thing. They had initially held British capitalism will help India grow, but instead found that the British policies are in fact keeping India back. One more I'll do, then I'll give you a short break for 2 minutes. Social religious reforms. It's not only that the British is exploiting India, it is also that the Indians ourselves were backward in our mentality. Here, these were the leaders, Indian leaders, please mark that term, who were great pioneers, and they worked for the following movements. Please mark the examples. In the social sphere, we fought against abolition of caste system. We fought against child marriage. We fought against dowry. We fought against parda system. We fought against sati. We fought against infanticide, thus launching a crusade against the social and legal inequalities. Crusade means a war. Crusades were a war. Please see, do you get all caste system? You understood child marriage, you understood dowry. I hope anybody doesn't know what is dowry, where the girl has to pay the boy for getting married. Parda system is basically keeping Mungat or pardas, which both the Muslims as well as Hindus were asked to do. Sati and infanticide. Infanticide means killing the girl child. These were all problems which were there in India, which we fought. You know, right? In India, you do not. In India, unlike other some countries, you are not allowed to know the gender of the child before he's born. Otherwise, because India history has a lot of infanticide, girl child killing. Nowadays, it doesn't happen anymore, but earlier it used to. This is 19th century. That is the 1800s. Religious places where we fought were attacked idolatry. Idolatry means worshipping idols. Polytheism. Polytheism means worshipping more than one god, which Hindus do a lot. Hindus myth, a lot of gods are there. So they fought against that also. Heredity, priesthood, and combated religious superstitions and fought for individual liberty and social equality. These were some examples. Please mark examples where India system fought against themselves. Who were these guys? These were the modern leaders fighting with the backward, which you will learn about some names in this chapter and the next. Here, the reform movements, which the organization movements means here the organizations which are there today also. I don't know if you've heard their names. Some of them are in your area, Maim also. Anybody stays in Maim must have heard these names. Near your school also, there are a couple of them. Satya Sodak Samaj was started by Jyotiba Phule. Ram Krishna Mission was started by Swami Vivekanand. Arya Samaj was started by Swami Dayanand Saraswati. And Brahmo Samaj was started by Raja Ram. These are all movements or organized movements technically started by the leaders to spread awareness about society. Next page, how did these movements benefit? Swami Dayanand Saraswati was the first one to use the word Swaraj. Please put for MCQ. In our Indian history, Swami Dayanand Saraswati was the first one to use the word Swaraj. He also gave slogans like India for Indians. He was the first one, even before any national leader could use Swaraj, he had said, we want Swaraj from the British. That means just imagine he was so far-sighted already. Swami Dayanand and Vivekanand proclaimed the superiority of the Indian culture and civilization. So Dayanand and Vivekanand Swami said that understand we are not to be enslaved. Our cultural civilization was the biggest. You remember last year you studied, which I was just teaching the 9th grade. That was the Vedic period and the Harappans. We are where the Vedas were written. We are the country where the great Harappan civilization came from, Indus Valley. It doesn't mean that we should be colonized. We can be free. The reform movements drew inspiration from India's past culture and heritage. The reformers condemned matlab fought untouchability, they fought caste system, and they promoted brotherhood and equality. The reformers also taught the people the importance of women and who could participate in the national movement, thus not to ignore them. Raja Ram Mohan Roy, here is his photo. He is the first of the 10 leaders you study over the 15 chapters. He's the first. You have 10 leaders which you study over the chapters, including Indian and foreigners, where you study about Hitler also, Gandhi also. Last chapter you study about first Prime Minister of Free India, basically Nehru. So over the course you study about all these 10 of them are there. He's the first one you study about, Raja Ram Mohan Roy. He fought, what did he do? Please mark. He was fighting the evils which were prevalent in Bengal. Please see the name itself tells you, Raja Ram Mohan Roy. Roy, they are all basically, they were from Bengal. It was because of his efforts, William Bentinck, the Governor General of India of that time, passed a law saying sati is illegal and punishable by law. So it was because of his efforts, sati became punishable by law. He protested against the restrictions on freedom of press and the caste system. He fought against freedom of press. He said press should be free and caste system should be removed. Point number 4, he started campaigns against sati, parda system, condemned polygamy, discouraged child marriage, and encouraged widow remarriage. Polygamy is what? Polygamy is, yeah, more than one. So he said polygamy is not okay, sati is not okay, parda system is not okay, child marriage is not okay, and what is okay? Widow remarriages. Ush time pe widows were either asked to do sati or stay inside the house forever. He founded the Brahmo Samaj, which we did on the previous page also. It believed in monotheism. Mono means one. That is, there is only one God. He laid emphasis on prayer, meditation, clarity, strengthening the bonds between men and religion and idol worship. And he condemned idol worship. Please mark for MCQ. Brahmo Samaj was started by Raja Ram Mohan Roy. It came on the previous page also. And Brahmo Samaj believes in monotheism. Monotheism means one God. Please mark for MCQ next one also. Rabindranath Tagore said that Raja Ram Mohan Roy has inaugurated the modern age in India. And he is called as the father of Indian Renaissance and the prophet of Indian nationalism. Raja Ram Mohan Roy was given 3 names. How many names? 3 titles by Rabindranath Tagore. First one was inaugurating the modern age in India. Number 2, father of Indian Renaissance. And number 3, prophet of Indian nationalism. Prophet means leader. So Raja Ram Mohan Roy was given 3 titles by Rabindranath Tagore himself. And lastly, Raja Ram Mohan Roy believed in unity of all religions. He picked up one good thing from each religion. He picked up monotheism from Islam, teachings of Bible, and teachings from the doctrines propagated by the Upanishads. Upanishads are Hindu, Bible is Christianity, and monotheism is from Islam. Monotheism means one God. So he said we should not only look at one religion, we should learn from all religions. One last one, leader one more, Raja Ram. He was urban educated member of the low caste. Very important. He was from the low caste. That means he was someone who had faced the caste system. Despite being from the low caste, he got himself educated, which was very difficult at that time, next to impossible. This is his form. He founded the Satya Sodak Samaj, who worked for the weaker sections of the society. Raja Ram Mohan Roy found the Brahmo Samaj. This guy found the Satya Sodak Samaj. He pioneered widow remarriage in Maharashtra. Raja Ram Mohan Roy worked in Bengal area for the same things. Jyotiba Phule works for the same things in Maharashtra. You can see here yet that the full India concept here is not yet completely grown. Everybody is working on the same lines, but they are working in their own regions or states. He started school for the untouchables and a private orphan for the widows. He fought for the rights of the depressed classes by and said made them aware by educating them. He started work for education for women. He, along with his first wife, Sorry, he along with his wife started the first school for girls in MCQ, please. He was the first one to start girls' school for girls in India along with his wife. Okay. Let's see what are precursors. Precursors means which came before. Precursors means which came. So the Indian National Congress के पहले आया. There are many organizations which were formed before Congress. The methodology was the same, that they used to work only in one part of the country. They used to work in only one state or one specific parts of the country. None of them were all India born. None of them were all India. Then came, then the leaders realized, no, let's make an all. He's doing the same thing in Bengal. I'm doing the same thing in Maharashtra. He's doing the same thing in Gujarat, Rajasthan. Everybody is doing the same thing. His organization has branches in Maharashtra also. My organization has branches in Gujarat also. Gujarat, his organization, which is from Gujarat, has branches in South India also. Everybody is trying to grow on their own. Then we realized, why not come together and make a All India Congress, which was basically the INC, and that's where the nationalism part became very strong. Before that, there were many. In your syllabus, you are lucky you have only three precursors. In history, there are more than three precursors. In your syllabus, there were only three. First one is the East India Association. It was founded in London by Dadabhai Nauroji. Its main aim was to voice the grievances of Indians and suggest remedial measures. It had branches in Mumbai, Kolkata, and Delhi. Sorry, Chennai. This is the first precursor. Earlier they had, now they have put only three precursors. Earlier they had put five in your syllabus. Then they reduced to bodies. And in reality, there are more than five. The बहुत सारा political organizations came and many of them shut. Next one was the Indian Association. Please mark, it was started by whom? Surendranath Banerjee. You will learn about Banerjee in the next chapter, that is Surendranath Banerjee, chapter number 3 and 4 onwards. This body was made up of, this organization was made up of lawyers, professionals, and educated middle class. It had its branches in Bengal as well as outside Bengal, as 44 of them, as many as 44. Can you see? Either we learned three branches, now there are 44 branches. Organizations are growing as time passes. But you have to realize, dates you don't have to learn, don't worry. But you have to realize that then came the final step called as Indian National Congress. Aim of the Indian Association was mass participation, create a body of public opinion, friendly relations between Hindus and Muslims. Its achievements, it was able to fight against the License Act, Arms Act, Vernacular Press Act, reducing the age of 21 to 19 for ICS examination. Where did we study this? We studied this in repressive colonial policies, if you remember. I write there RCS. Please write RCS, repressive colonial policies. Sorry, RCP. What was the question number for RCP? Your question number 5. You remember we did this in the first half, right? Repressive colonial policies of Britain. They fought against all these. So please write here RCP question number 5. So you'll remember the achievements are nothing but the question number 5 they fought against. However, this association also failed to attain all India character. All India made couldn't reach it. Then the third and the final one. Again, please mark who started this. Surendranath Banerjee. Banerjee started super also. Banerjee started Indian Association also. Banerjee started Indian National Conference. Conference, that is Surendranath Banerjee conveyed the All India Conference. It was a provincial organization. Provincial matlab temporary. Provincial matlab temporary. Why? Because this model was offering the same thing what Indian National Congress was offering. So 2 years later, INC got converted into INC. The conference got converted and mixed with the Congress. Please mark that. It was a provincial organization because it was a temporary organization offering a module to the Indian National Congress, which was formed 2 years. So for the first 2 years, it ran as INC, Indian National Conference, and then it got converted into Indian National Congress. Congress was a bigger organization. ये भी वही कर रहा था, ये भी वही कर रहा था, but Congress was very big. Look here once again. Conference, Congress. Congress was very big. So the conference was like we are doing the same thing what the Congress. So then they merged into one. Samjha? They were first two, understand the concept, they were two different organizations. Congress became far bigger. That's what is my next answer. Congress became far bigger. Conference was small. So conference was like Surendranath Banerjee, you're like, I'm ready to mix it with the Congress. They both were working for the welfare of the Indians. Let's see formation of the Congress. Please mark. Indian leaders like Banerjee, see his name is here, Dadabhai, Feroz Shah Mehta, Justice Ranade, all wanted to now form an all India political body. They all wanted a political body, all India. They all had their own regional organizations. Now they said the regional organization is not able to create as big as impact as all India. So let's create an all India. So the second Britisher, AOU, who was very good to Indians. First Britisher which we studied in the chapter was Ripon. Ripon helped Indians. AOU said, okay, I'll also help the Indians. How did he help? Look here. AOU, a retired British member of the Indian Civil Service, helped the Indians. He wrote an open letter. Box that word, open letter. Open letter means, make an arrow and write, open letter means announcement. Open letter means an announcement. He made an announcement to the graduates of the Calcutta University to dedicate their services to form an political association. He said, graduates, Calcutta University graduates, you are young people, join politics. Join the politics. Which body? Join the Indian National Congress. He made an announcement. He gave an open letter. This produced desired results. AOU said it, so everybody started following what he's saying. AOU, in consultation with the Indian leaders, now formed, please circle or bracket box that name, Indian National Union. So it's not, they started the body by the name called as Indian National Union. It's not Indian National Congress yet, it is Indian National Union. Later they changed it to Congress. So I made a flow chart, please mark that. INU was started by AOU and later forward arrow. That is in the second meeting they decided ki let's change the name from Indian National Union to Indian National Congress. Dadabhai gave the proposal and the name went ahead and changed to Indian National Union. Say Congress. So INC के नीचे लिखा है दादाभाई नौरोजी. Did you understand this open letter concept? Very important. AOU is an ends. By many people, AOU is considered as the founder of the Congress because AOU was the one who gave the open letter. The open letter got desired results, and in consultation with these guys, which we studied here, they started an Indian National Union. We all came together and started Indian National Union. Please mark the second Viceroy Dufferin. Lord Dufferin. What was his name? Dufferin. Dufferin also favored the formation of the Congress. Please underline why. Because he wanted to act as a safety valve. He wanted to act as a safety valve for popular discontent. I'll explain. Safety valve, this is being related to the heart. The bio students, little. Simple, you know, our heart has valves. And the valves of the heart only open on one side. नीचे से ऊपर. The valve doesn't open down. The valve only opens. Why does it only open on one side? Why is it only unidirectional? So that the impure blood doesn't shift backwards down. It only goes up to get purified. From there, it goes to the remaining part. So this is what we have compared it to. He was acting as a safety valve because at that time, British had become popular discontent. British had become very unfavored. So he realized that if AOU is doing something for Indians, even I should do something for the Indians so that I gain their trust back. It was basically nothing else but politics. But aim here is to know what is the safety valve. It is basically comparison of the valve of the heart so that his popular discontent gets saved. Final point, the Congress keeps its yearly sessions in December in different parts of the country, and very soon thousands of delegates started attending these meetings. So very soon this Congress grew very big and thousands of them started coming in. Aims of the Congress, please mark short. To train and organize public opinion, feeling of unity, popular demands were passed, and to promote friendly relations. I have converted them into head point matter. If you see the textbook, there is only matter. I have converted everything into head point matter form. Last part, 2 paragraphs. This was the first session of the Congress. The first session, you need to know only about the first 2 sessions. The first session was held under the presidentship of W.C. Banerjee. See his spelling, please. Banerjee. That guy was Banerjee. This is Banerjee. 72 delegates attended the meetings. Any 3 names or 4 names you can learn. Dadabhai, K.T. Telang, Firuz Shah Mehta, and so on. Just this Rana. Tayyab. Here, please mark, give the point number to the heading play, as I have done on the screen. Play. The Congress, sorry, the conference. Please see here, we are not using the name Congress yet. Here we are using it either the union or the conference. अभी तक कांग्रेस वर्ड आया नहीं है. Session 1 में everybody called it the union or the conference. The conference of the representatives of the different parts of India was to be conveyed of the union. Sorry, by the union. Union means Indian National Union, not Indian National Congress. Abhi talak you cannot use the word Congress. It was supposed to be held in December 25 in Pune. By that time, plague broke out. So the meeting was shifted from Pune to Mumbai. That is Gokuldas Tejpal Sanskrit College. They shifted the meeting from Pune to Mumbai. This was session 1. Session 1 में plague broke out. The Pune say they shifted it to Mumbai. Sorry, and in the first meeting, once the meeting was held in session 1, not in session 2, sorry. In session 1, on suggestion of Dadabhai, the name of the union was now changed to Indian National Congress, which was on December 28, 1885. Hence, your textbooks tell that Dadabhai is the founder of the Congress. Online, if you go and check, higher grade books agree both. Hume and Dadabhai are decided as founders, but our textbook here clearly mentions that Congress was founded by Dadabhai because the name change was proposed by Dadabhai. However, the original efforts were taken by Hume. But Hume founded Union, Congress was founded by Dadabhai. Very famous question they ask you, who is the founder of the Congress? They can, although Hume was the one who initiated the process, but Dadabhai was the one who gave the name. So we consider Dadabhai. Final answer, second session was held under presidentship of Dadabhai, which was held in Kolkata. Your Lord Dufferin was also attending the session as distinguished visitors to the capital. Why is it called as distinguished visitors to the capital? Please write there. Because at that time, Kolkata was our capital, not Delhi. If you know, I don't know if you know, under the days of British, our capital for a long time was Kolkata, not Delhi. So under 1885, 1886 also, our capital of India was Kolkata, not Delhi. If you remember grade 8, very famous Battle of Plassey. What yaad hai? Where the first battle was fought by the British on Indian soil was in Kolkata, which was near Kolkata, which was Battle of Plassey, where they started conquering, becoming this. Last answer which I have, one is this one, which I leave for the last to do. Let's do this, then I'll give you a break. Ilbert Bill controversy. Question number 7, please. Very simple but very important. Please mark sure. Sir C.P. Ilbert was the law member of the Viceroy's Council. On request from Lord Ripon, he introduces a bill called as Ilbert Bill. Please see his photo again, Ripon. Ripon was a good lord. So Ripon told Ilbert, introduce a bill with respect to judiciary. So this bill came to be known as Ilbert Bill. And the controversy against it was called as Gilbert Bill controversy. Now let's see what was the bill. The bill was very simple and very nice to the Indians. The bill allowed Indian judges to try European offenders. वो टाइम पे रूल था white can only be tried by a white judge. A white criminal should only be tried by a white judge. In some other words, a foreigner should be only tried by a foreign judge. What time pe what used to happen? Foreign criminal, foreign judge, handshake, penalty was minimum. Minimum, that means even if you're caught in a killing case, you will just be, your penalty will be just to apologize to the family. That's it. So if you killed a farmer, just apologize. At that time, this was a lot, this was very, there was a lot of judicial discrimination. If you underline that word, please mark that judicial disqualification they wanted to do. Ripin ne bola, if he's done wrong, whether he is a foreigner or Indian, he should be punished. Ilbert Bill allowed Indian judges to try foreigners out. The Europeans in India did not like this. The whites in India said, why are you getting this bill? If something is working in our favor, why would you want to change it? They started a vociferous agitation. Please mark the name of this agitation was called as Defense Association. Vociferous means a loud. All the Europeans started talking about it. This bill is absolutely not needed. Why are you taking our privilege away? They started a vociferous, loud agitation. The name of this agitation was called as Defense Association. That means you're going against the Ilbert Bill. The Europeans, the whites, did not want the Ilbert Bill. They wanted to defend their special privilege. As a result, a counter agitation also started by the educated Indians. Educated Indians saw the drama behind this. Why are the Europeans not wanting this bill? They also started agitation. They also started counter agitation. Who won? Who do you think won? The Europeans won. The European lobby was successful and the bill was withdrawn. ऐसा bill आना ही नहीं चाहिए. The bill was trying to help Indians, but the Europeans are not okay with it. They bought, please mark, they bought MMM, more moderate measure. They bought a Sasta Sundar Tikau bill, which said that a European could be tried by a sessions judge and a district magistrate who might be an Indian. So these are the two highest positions. And these positions the Indians couldn't reach so easily. There were hardly one or two Indian judges who had reached this position. So what was the loophole of the bill? That yes, you can try. An Indian judge can now try a European, but he has to be of the position or an experience of a sessions judge or a district magistrate. These are the one of the two highest positions. So the Europeans did not allow the British Indian judges to reach that level. So there were hardly one or two Indian judges who were at that stage. If there were more also, the cases never used to go to them. The Ilbert Bill controversy clearly showed that Indians could not expect justice and fair play from the British, which the British kind dressed for it. Take 1 second.